thought to myself, women in the workplace. What about that one? Are we a distraction? Do you guys think we're a distraction? And the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, we kind of are a distraction.
Working woman Candace Owens makes the argument that women in the workplace are a distraction. Now, let's get to the next video. She elaborates in this clip, and then we'll probably make fun of her.
If you think about what men have to do when they go to work now, it's essentially just a bunch of landmines, right? Once upon a time, it was a man's world. Yes, I agree. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I am not making an argument that women should not have the right to work and should be relegated to the household. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I am acknowledging that things have gotten worse at work since women joined. Since women joined the workforce, I think that men are having to deal with all these landmines everywhere. Do I say something? Do I not say something? I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this as some sort of an assault. Oh, do I tell her she looks nice today? Or is she going to think that that's inappropriate? Is it appropriate? Especially in the post-Me Too era, forget it. Do I say anything to her? Well, if I don't say anything to her, well, she's going to say that I'm ignoring her because I'm a man. If I say something to her, she's going to say I'm always speaking to her because I'm a man. I mean, I couldn't even imagine the internal dialogue that men must be having at work at all times.
I'm not saying that women shouldn't have the right to work. I'm just saying that women in the workplace really sucks.
Since women joined the workforce, I think that men are having to deal with all these landmines everywhere. Do I say something? Do I not say something? I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this.
I'm not saying that women shouldn't have the right to work. I'm just saying that women in the workplace really suck.
That men are having to deal with all these landmines everywhere. Do I say something? Do I not say something? I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this as some sort of an assault. Oh, do I tell her she looks nice today? Or is she going to think that that's inappropriate? Is it appropriate?
Yeah. And is a huge problem. And these poor men, I mean, what are they supposed to do? They just don't know how to act.
Do I say something? Do I not say something? I have to be careful on how I speak to this person because she's a woman. She might see this.
What are they supposed to do? They just don't know how to act.
As some sort of an assault. Oh, do I tell her she looks nice today? Or is she going to think that that's inappropriate?
Yeah, so I'm going to explain why she's saying this in a second. First, she said, women at work are a distraction. Look at the assumption there.
What are you wearing right now?
Your sleeves are a distraction.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to get it out.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm gonna ask her to make me a sandwich later.
You make daddy a sandwich.
Look, what does that assume? That assumes men should be working and women are a distraction to the men doing all the work, right? Men are in charge and should be in charge. And we let a couple of these little ladies in here, but they're, man, they cause a lot of problems. Okay, because they're so distracting. Because men are apparently animals who can't contain themselves, and as soon as they see a woman, et cetera.
She gives an example of what she is concerned about though, okay? And that weirdly happens to be company Christmas parties. Let's watch.
This year, the Daily Wire had a Christmas party, and I didn't go for separate reasons, but I found out that the Christmas party was dry. But now, similar to Daily Wire, a bunch of corporations are saying, let's not do that, let's not do that. Why are they saying let's not do that? I don't know for sure, but probably because they're avoiding traps, right?
Maybe they're doing it because getting your workers sloshed might be a liability for the employer.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe Candace Owens' theory is more accurate than mine. I don't know.
But she says, no, I'm not saying they don't have a right to work. I'm just saying that they make work way worse. Then Candace, what are you doing? You're literally at work now. Why don't you shut up?
Shut up.
And go home.
You're making the men uncomfortable, Candace.
You're a distraction, you're a landmine. Go home, make me a sandwich.
Make daddy a sandwich.
Then make me a sandwich, Candace. Make me a goddamn sandwich. And I'll tell you exactly how to make it.
And know your goddamn role, Candace, okay?
You're a lunatic. But no, wait.
You make daddy a sandwich.
I will actually retract that. That's not true. Her audience is all men. No, I will actually retract that. That's not true. No reasonable woman is gonna watch this insane drivel, right? So she knows that audience is gonna eat that up.
Oh yeah, it's all women's fault. Work has only gotten worse since women got there. It's their fault, they distracted me. That's why I had to accost them. Candace is so right.
Okay, so you start a hate factory, don't be surprised when hate shows up.
I know your goddamn role, Candace.
Sloshed.
We still don't agree on getting rid of the filibuster.
That's correct.
Thank you.
High-fiving each other over keeping the filibuster in place, which is why legislation that would actually improve your lives ends up dying in the Senate.
So she's bragging about bipartisanship, that she and Manchin work with the Republicans. So when they say bipartisanship, they mean we serve corporate interests and we crush middle class and working poor for a living. And then they high five over it, and the crowd loves it, and the crowd goes nuts.
We still don't agree on getting rid of the filibuster.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Now, did the New York Times ever tell you, oh, these
Sons of bitches
are so incredibly corrupt?
that they get bribed on a regular basis.
I mean, they don't even cover this. She obviously murdered a sheep and put it around her neck before she came on. I mean, what the hell was that? Okay, she loves being flamboyantly
Annoying.
They go to places like Davos. They get notes from the rich people, and they write down what they think is news. But it isn't news. It's propaganda.
Have you looked in a mirror lately?
Number one, they have themes every year at the World Economic Forum, okay? And in 2016, they published a video that stated that by 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Okay, it's just.
How could you write that story? The number one way that Americans acquire wealth is through their homes.
Everybody knows that.
No, but you won't own a home and you'll like it, Jake.
You won't like
You'll
it, you'll
like
have no
it.
money. You'll have acquired no assets at all. You don't know that? You're a reporter that wrote about that, you don't know it? And all these reporters go to Davos and they're like,
Oh golly gee, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what the corporate agenda was.
oh, and by the way, corporations are giving money to politicians, and then politicians do whatever the corporations want and never what their voters want.
Golly gee, I'm a reporter and I couldn't figure it out.
But the minute they stop working for mainstream media, they're like,
Oh yeah, of course. The whole thing's a circle jerk, and all we do is serve the rich and the powerful.
Exactly.
But it isn't news. It's
propaganda.
propaganda. Sons of bitches.
Though most planets are named after Roman deities, what is the only one named for a figure in Greek mythology? Jupiter is Roman, I believe. I can't even put a finger on Uranus. Oh, you're gonna cut that out. That'll be edited, I'm sure. I think I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say a final answer. It was D. Uranus was the answer.
Football is not for women. Maybe some women who get into it, but it's not really for women. It's not for you. You don't understand it. You're not meant to understand it. This is actually a man's thing.
That is the infamous, fascist, misogynist, and other badist, Matt Walsh, insisting that football is only for men.
Maybe some women who get into it, but it's not really for women.
And we are about to prove him completely wrong. But first, let's watch a little bit more of that fascinating, insightful video. Check out this piece of mind-blowing tape.
It is good that football is violent. It should stay violent. It is good to have violent sports. Okay? We should have violent sports. If anything, we should have more of them, because a violent sport like football is, among other things, a relatively safe, and relatively productive outlet for male energy and aggression.
Who could have seen that take coming? Jake did. Called it perfectly just yesterday, right here on TYT. Check out this clip.
So now it looks like the right wing is trying to frame it like, oh yeah, I remember when people were real men and they just didn't mind people getting killed on the field.
Now the libs want to make this soft so there isn't as many deaths on the field.
Thank God you're wearing a slightly different colored shirt. Otherwise, people could have thought you did that live. But
Yeah.
No, I knew they were gonna eventually celebrate the guy that the fact that the guy almost died.
Right.
And none of us are, as he says, celebrating the fact that the guy almost died. That's not happening anywhere.
And like, oh, it's supposed to be a violent sport, man, yeah. And chicks wouldn't understand nothing about it, huh?
My favorite thing about this dude is that his dumb guy voice is indistinguishable from his regular voice. He's doing an impression of an idiot and yet sounds just like himself.
He's saying, look, it's a societally acceptable way of releasing some of the violent urges that people in society and men in particular have. That's not that wrong.
Right.
But when they celebrate, the second part is celebrating like,
oh, violence is a good thing. Yeah, it's great.
No, but wait, it doesn't have to be this violent. Between 1900 and 1905, 45 different people died on the football field because it used to be even more violent. They would literally kill each other on the field. And guess what happened? Teddy Roosevelt, when he was president, and said, I'm not gonna let you kill each other on the field like this. This is insane. You have to make it less violent. And you know what happened after that? It became way more popular.
Because people didn't want to go see a sport and have people murder each other on the field.
So he's totally wrong about that.
He observes that football used to be a lot more violent than it is today. If that sounds familiar, it's probably because I made the exact same point in the very monologue he's attempting to rebut.
And then, of course, the woman don't understand football is the dumbest thing of all. And Helen, I'll let you take it away.
The woman don't understand football.
Okay, so the crux of his argument is
women shouldn't have a say because men are the ones that have violent urges and you chicks don't get it. You chicks don't get the violent urges that we have that we need to get out.
which I almost can see, like, I'm a cis woman and I am raising, apparently so far as I know, a cis baby. I've been raising a cis son for 2 years.
Can you imagine trying to watch a game and this woman comes running in? You're trying to watch the game?
Let me tell you about my cis baby.
My God, shut up.
I would actually almost accept that argument from this
Tool shed if
I knew that he had
no opinions on
abortion, female reproductive rights,
the price of tampons.
If he shut his
Stupid bearded pie hole
about any of those things
that he literally
as a man does not understand. But I know this
bearded douche nozzle.
Hold on. So for him to turn around and be like,
Women, I don't even want to hear from you because you guys just don't.
Shut up. Shut your stupid, dumb pie hole, you dime store Justin Thoreau.
You're so emotional, you can barely see straight. Calm down, Cupcake. Take a breath. You're being hysterical.
And also, I agree with most things you said, but I think you went a little hard on bearded people.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
What do you mean they can't understand?
yeah, there's
literally, it's not that complicated.
There's literally posted rules. Like you can Google the rules of football, and anyone with like basic level of intelligence cannot. There's literally a list of rules, and go, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
you watch, you read the rules, you watch one game, and go, I get it. I get it. It's not magic. It's not magic. You know, it's not like. Or like this is the most sexist, going both ways, sexist argument.
From the dumbest douche nozzle.
Not only are you unable to understand football, but apparently you also don't understand English. I didn't say that women can't comprehend the rules of football. I mean, you probably can't, which is why you're sitting there Googling it.
Women don't understand violence. Oh, let's do this, Matt.
Let's not do this. And look, of course, we're not Neanderthal, so we're and Helen, of course, means in the ring in an official way, not in the streets.
Right.
Okay.
Like me and Rogan.
Oh yeah, gone ballistic.
I don't know that Matt Walsh knows anything about football. He's never talked about football. He's just like,
women don't know.
Look, guys who pretend to be.
I'm the most masculine. Yeah, you guys don't know anything.
98 out of 100 times are the weakest, most pathetic creatures.
He does not look like he has really good muscle tone.
He does not look like a football player.
No,
I would bet
exactly.
he never. I would bet he never played football.
Exactly.
Like, oh God.
I never played football, and I have no interest in football.
Which is why you're sitting there Googling it.
And I don't care about football, but
I care about punching Matt Walsh in the face in a sanctioned way.
Okay. Anyway, don't actually do any violence to anyone. Okay, just to be clear.
A Republican state lawmaker in Texas.
Let me start that again.
A Republican state lawmaker in Texas is proposing legislation to solve a problem that literally does not exist. He thinks that some food that we consume contains remains of aborted fetuses.
You know what? Sure, let's have the FDA label food items that have fetal remains in them because the FDA will literally have to do nothing because this is not a thing.
Okay, the FDA has been very clear. There are no conditions under which the FDA would consider human fetal tissue to be safe or legal for human or animal consumption. Want to know why? Because that would be considered cannibalism.
You idiot.
Because you're an idiot.
So.
Yeah, of course it's not in the food. So why do they do this? Why do Republicans invent things that aren't real and then try to pass bills against them?
To scare their base.
Exactly.
So, for example, in Oklahoma, they passed a law against Sharia law because they thought the Muslims might take over Tulsa. Okay. I mean, look, the rest of us look at it and go bona fide lunatics, right? I mean, what Muslims? What the hell are you talking about? How in the world would Muslims institute Sharia law in the state of Oklahoma? He introduces the bill to introduce the idea into the Republican voters' heads because it doesn't have to be true. But once you have a bill, it sounds official. So then they all panic.
Oh my God, there's dead babies in the food.
I guarantee you a giant percentage of Republicans will believe it the minute they hear it. The minute. But the good news is a lot of Republicans are going to starve to death.
You're wondering, oh my God, where's the babies in the food? It's not good news, I'm kidding.
Fetal cell lines have led to the development of many major vaccines, such as COVID-19.
Which, by the way, that's not going to do anything to convince Republicans against this legislation.
Are you kidding me? They're like, yes, I do it.
Yeah. So here's my controversial suggestion. Okay. So guys, for the diseases that are viral and can spread to others, I really want them to take the vaccine so we don't get it from their ignorant asses. Okay. But if there's a disease that is not viral and that you cannot spread to others,
we should propose a law banning Republicans from taking those vaccines.
They passed a law against Sharia law because they thought the Muslims might take over Tulsa. Okay. I mean, look, the rest of us look at it and go bona fide lunatics.
And they're gonna say,
wow, you can't do that.
What do you mean? You support a party that says,
no, fetal cells are in there.
Okay, well, either change your opinion and say, of course there's nothing wrong with fetal cells, or you're banned.
You're banned.
How in the world would Muslims institute Sharia law in the state of Oklahoma? And it's not a serious proposal.
But for those that only affect them,
I would ban them.
I would say, you tell me what your real opinions are. If you say it's the Republican Party, okay, this fetal cell is
immoral, horrible, okay.
Well, then you're not allowed to take it.
And shut up about it, okay?
For the rest of us, I don't give a damn what you think is immoral. So I'll take it, and it's called freedom. They're the biggest hypocrites in the world.
You're banned.
They're like,
oh, we love freedom, but we don't want you to take stuff that is perfectly okay.
You're banned.
And by the way, why? Because they're pro-life. Okay, so you're gonna let all those people die because you're pro-life? I have no interest in the so-called morals of lunatics. No deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with fetal cells. Nothing. If that makes you cry, go cry into your skirt.
Nice
and I
new
don't care.
skirt.
Okay. And by the way, put me in charge, and I'll
ban it. I'll ban you from getting it.
Sharia law.
And then later, when you get a disease,
Can I please have science? I'm begging you. I want science.
No.
No, you want to be a party of ignoramuses? Live with it.
Or maybe die with it. Oh my God, there's dead babies in the food.
And it's not a serious proposal.
You're banned.
So how's the car?
Oh, I still love it. It's just that I lost my job.
I understand.
But too many of those in charge of the big conservative platforms are verifiably in bed with them.
Steven Crowder feels that the $50 million over 4 years contract that the Daily Wire offered him was the equivalent of a slave contract.
You know, really is.
But these are the same right wing who minimize slavery. Oh, we shouldn't teach racism and slavery and all that stuff. Critical race theory, get it out of the schools, right?
Minimize slavery.
And then he's like,
only $50 million over 4 years when I barely have to work. It's like slavery.
And his show's an hour long and then half an hour behind the paywall. That's like half the size of our show, right? Like the guy just barely does anything. He goes on and he's like,
I know black people and gay people suck.
And he thinks $50 million is slavery?
It's insane.
How to get those dollar bills.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money.
Dollar bills.
If I fail to do that, it would be a $250,000 reduction in fee per quarter.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
100%. So look, guys.
Crowder's an idiot.
He's really dumb.
He will not, I would be shocked if he makes that kind of money on his own. Shocked.
Right?
But you don't come out and be like,
oh, I can't believe they're trying to make money off me.
You're a right winger. Don't you understand capitalism? Yeah, of course they're trying to make money off of you. Did you think it was a nonprofit? Look, by the way, though.
Yeah,
this is my favorite excerpt.
You think if you had that kind of a penalty, you think if someone said, hey, we're gonna penalize you $10,000? Every day you miss coming into work, you think you'd be stressed? This is worse than the left frames their contracts.
No, but Steven Crowder literally might be the dumbest person on the right. I'm not exaggerating. That is not hyperbole.
Can you guys imagine a situation in which you might get sick and you don't get paid because you stay home due to your illness? Can you guys imagine?
We can definitely imagine that. 100%.
Guys, you remember how we covered the railroad workers strike? Remember what the strike was over? It was certainly about wages too, but the main issue was sick days. You know why? How many sick days they got? 0. They have 0 sick days.
It's just hilarious because he doesn't. Anyway, let me go to Cenk because Cenk understands this perfectly and he can crystallize it for you all.
So and by the way, there's a couple things here. Number one, if he just wanted to be a jerk.
And he's a right winger, so there's a good chance that he would do that.
Do they get to own the things that you create while they're paying you $12.5 million a year? Of course, of course, of course, of course. Why do you think they're paying you that much money? And by the way, it has a 2-year extension, so it's actually a $75 million deal.
Oh God, I just want to hang myself when I hear about this stuff.
Because this industry creates flame wars nonstop because it draws attention.
Yep.
So you saw it happen to us, right? Those harlots, Dave Rubin and Jimmy Dore, they leave and they're like,
oh, start flame wars, get attention, turn on them, and we make money.
Right? So now it's happening to the right wing.
Enjoy, guys. There's gonna be a lot more of that.
There's gonna be people who leave the Daily Wire and start talking smack about it, the Blaze, all of that, and they're gonna snipe you and snipe you and snipe you.
I love it. Have at it, Hoss, okay?
Dollar bills.
Bob Spitzer Spindle, a Republican member of the Wisconsin Election Committee, openly boasted about the GOP's successful effort to suppress Black and Hispanic voter turnout. He said this:
"We can be especially proud of the city of Milwaukee, 80.2% Democratic vote, casting 37,000 less votes than cast in the 2018 election, with a major reduction happening in the overwhelming Black and Hispanic areas."
I mean, just brazen.
It's like,
yeah, I think we can be real proud that we suppressed the vote of these specific voters.
And so he goes more in detail.
Yeah, no, the email continues.
So, biting back radio negative commercials run the last few weeks of the election cycle straight at Dem candidates. A substantial and very effective Republican coordinated election integrity program resulting with lots of Republican paid election judges and trained observers and extremely significant continued court litigation. So, some little voter intimidation here. Corrupt judges there.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't we do so good? Didn't we do so good?
Some little voter intimidation here. So, corrupt judges there.
Yeah.
Didn't we do so good? Didn't we do so good? I know.
Yeah, that was great.
Amazing. But nonetheless, this is so clear and so brazen, so transparent. And anyone who claims that Republicans aren't trying to rig our democratic process to their advantage is either incredibly naive or lying on purpose.
Let's just keep it real.
Didn't we do so good?
Let's get the hell out of here.
Like.